Robert. Unfortunately, I can't be there tonight, but JD and Hannah have been gracious enough to allow me to share a few thoughts. I'm JD's cousin, but I consider myself close enough. I'm something a bit more than that, something like a brother. It's not an official title, of course. JD has two wonderful brothers. Mine is something more like an honorary degree, which was achieved, however, by some very notable accomplishments as it pertains to JD. For example, I and I alone have seen JD naked at every stage of his life. I don't think anyone else in the world can say that, unfortunately for me. I helped JD sharpen his craft in one of his greatest life passions, trolling his sister Ashley. I helped JD create a secret language that we could use to communicate with each other in public. Sounds cute, like something kids do. Wasn't that cute? We did this in our 20s, and JD was already very hairy when we did this. Finally. I went along with, as a willing participant, I must admit, in all of JD's schemes and ventures on family vacation that became family scandal. Like, for example, when we tied up our cousin Chris and threw him out of the trunk on Myrtle Beach Avenue, when we took fish from the ocean and dumped it into the beach house pool, our own little aquarium, when we woke up our cousins with fireworks, and when JD took a smoke bomb, threw it out the window, and accidentally erupted it on a cop car. I went along with that, although let the record show, as some of these are still under investigation, that they were all JD's idea. But I think I earned my status by what I became an expert in and was one of my greatest life passions, arguing and fighting with JD. See, JD throughout my life has conjured up more emotions in me than just about anything or anyone else. For that reason, we, as cousin best friends often do, fought constantly, at times ferociously, but never for very long. Here's a good example. One summer, we were meant to be camp counselors together out in Connecticut. The night before we were set to travel out there, for whatever reason, I can't remember now, we got in a huge fight. So the next day, we traveled for 8 hours together without saying a single word. 8 hours all the way out to Connecticut, Mexican standoff. But for whatever reason, again, we got to the campsite, we pulled in, and without talking about it, without really getting into much detail at all, and almost simultaneously, we decided we weren't mad anymore. We went right back to being best friends. It hasn't always been fighting, though. These strong emotions have caused other things. For example, they've bonded me more to JD than just about anyone else. I've always felt like his wins in life were mine. Never bothered me, never got jealous when JD was, as was often the case, better at certain things than me. For example, beating me in board games, video games, just about any game. He hit more runs than me, hit more home runs, I should say, in high school baseball. He was always much better at getting the girls to like him. Never bothered me, and always super proud of him. For that reason, I put in my time. I've earned a PhD in JD University. So for that reason, Hannah, although we haven't spent a ton of time together as of yet, I feel like I already know you. Not just because JD and I have talked about you, of course, but because of how well I know him and what conclusions I can then draw about you from the fact that he chose to spend his life with you. You must be quite clever and intriguing, because the JD that I know loves very few things more than he loves a laugh and a challenge. He seems totally fascinated by you. You must be quite captivating, because the JD that I know is disciplined, focused. He's not prone to whimsy, but you seem to have caused him to be totally swept away. You must be kind-hearted, because like many of us Striffler boys, JD's a bit of a mama's boy. He was well loved by the women in his life, and he's always searched for someone as strong and as nurturing as his mother and grandmother. Finally, you must be a pretty good bet. JD has a lot of gifts. He's a uniquely good listener. He asks questions. He takes actual interest. He's exceptional at being present in the moment when you're with him. But he's quite cautious with these gifts. He doesn't just give them out. He's not prone to gamble them. He's very lucky that he has found you to lay all his chips on. As JD's partner in crime for many years, and you already know this, I'm sure, all I can really say is that that strong emotion for JD will be rewarded. If you put in the time, you will be able to enjoy some of life's premium experiences. For me, it's like riding shotgun with JD, listening to his somewhat painful musical catalog, his theories about random, times boring, intricate mysteries of the universe, as the two of you head off onto some adventure somewhere else. So we always did. Few things compare to that. And now you get to do that forever. I'm not saying your life will be perfect. It won't be. Life is and always will be hard and full of trouble and an occasional argument. But you married my JD. It's never going to be boring. Thanks.